Hi, my name is Leanna if you don't know me, and welcome to my fitness channel. Currently, I am a certified personal trainer with NASM. I have been a trainer for the past 2 years, but I started lifting in 2016. Long story short, I used to look like this. Now, I look like this. Why did I look like this? So back in high school, I was a certified Asian nerd. All right, so that meant I had a lot of homework and a lot of extracurriculars to do, and somehow that list of things to do did not involve joining a sport. I was in like 5 different clubs, I took like 12 different AP classes, and I was in SAT boot camp, you know, the works. And so there was just no time to be in sports. So I just wasn't exercising at all. And as a growing teenager, not exercising is bad. It's a bad thing. Now, alongside the fact that I did not work out, I also was severely undereating. Basically, I did not have any nutritional knowledge as a teenager. I did not have any knowledge of how many calories you're supposed to eat on a daily basis. I did not have any knowledge of what was healthy. I did not have any knowledge of protein intake. I did not have any knowledge of any of that. And neither did my mom. Through no fault of her own, when it comes to immigrant families, scarcity is a common theme. So at the end of the day, if you can put something on the table, you put it on the table. It doesn't matter how much protein it has, right? So I feel like a lot of Asian cultures, a lot of Asian immigrant families, the dishes that are on the tables typically are not, you know, very nutritionally well balanced, at least in the way that we understand what nutritionally well balanced to me these days. I would wake up in the morning, I would eat a small ass bowl of rice porridge, like literally just rice and water, and just drink that down, go to school, and then starve all day. So I was in 5 different clubs, right? Clubs met during lunch. There was no time to line up in the cafeteria. There was no time to eat anything. I didn't bring lunch. My mom thought it was easier if I just came home at 3 and ate a very, very late lunch. But by the time I finished that and dinner would roll around, I wouldn't be hungry. So pretty much the 3 o'clock meal would be the food of the day, the only meal of the day. And thinking back on it, as a teenager, I was so fucking hangry all the time. I'm pretty sure I was awful to so many people, and it was just because I was starving. I was starving and I was just trying my best. So that's pretty much why I looked like this in high school. And you know, I got skinny shamed a lot. Most of it came from my own mom. You look like the wind is gonna blow you over, why you're so skinny. I was just eating whatever my mom was putting on the table. Okay, and I felt hunger very frequently, but I didn't know better to go downstairs and like look for stuff in the kitchen to eat, like snacks or anything. I was a very sheltered kid, so I didn't really get to like hang out with my friends after school or like go to the store and like get snacks and stuff like that. Like I just had to eat whatever was at home, and that was not a lot of food. A lot of people asked me if I had an eating disorder and if I was like starving myself. I was not starving myself on purpose. However, I was starving myself on accident. And I was super skinny. I was like 108 pounds. And at some point my hair was just like falling out in clumps. One of my friends at school commented that I had a pancake butt, and that sucked. I was relentlessly body shamed and questioned for just existing in my skinny body. I didn't like my body. I realized that I had no ass. And this was around the time where twerking became really popular and everybody was like trying to twerk. And Nicki Minaj came out with Anaconda, and like everyone was like, oh yeah, like it's good to have a fat booty. And at the time I was just like, holy shit, like I have the flattest ass known to man. Not only am I really, really skinny, I think genetically I'm just like not blessed in that area, because I had friends who were very, very skinny, but they had very round glutes. And so I'm just like, oh my God, I hate my body. Around age 13, I realized that I was not shaped ideally. I was not shaped according to what the societal beauty standard had become. I think in the early 2000s, pretty much the ideal was to be as thin as humanly possible, to be a size 0, to be a size 00. And then all of a sudden it just became thick, you know, have a big ass, but have a small waist, of course, and have big boobs and everything like that. Body types are trends. That's one thing I've realized, and that's pretty disgusting, to be honest. But you know, as a woman, I feel like you can't truly escape that. You can't truly escape the beauty standards and being subjected to them, in the way that, you know, people treat attractive people better. People treat people that they find attractive better, and that's on pretty privilege. It's a real thing. It's a real thing for women. And I, as a 13-year-old girl, a developing teenager, I was not immune to those pressures. So I was like, I want a big booty. So I started doing these squat workouts at home, these like YouTube videos of bodyweight squats and lunges and things like that. And I thought that that was gonna grow me a fat ass, but it didn't because I was still eating like shit, basically. So high school came and went. I took the SATs, I finished my AP classes, I got into college, and around this time, I was just really worried about going out into the world alone. As a 17-year-old who had been sheltered her whole entire life, I was about to go out there. And I was scared because I knew the world was a dangerous place, or at least that was the narrative that was fed to me. And I, as a skinny, little, weak girl, was afraid. I was afraid of what people were gonna do to me. And so I was like, you know what? I can't be weak anymore. I have to be strong. So that mindset eventually made me sign up for my first self-defense classes. So the summer after high school, I decided to take everything into my own hands and sign up for Krav Maga, Israeli self-defense. And I loved it. And pretty much Krav was like the first time that I had worked out as a teenager, period. I mean, like outside of PE and like going on random little runs and shit like that, and doing squats in my bedroom. Krav Maga was the first time that like I actually signed up for an exercise activity and actually exercised consistently. I loved how it made me feel. I loved how punching was so cathartic, and it made me feel like I could actually put up a fight and like defend myself, you know, in dangerous situations. And going into college, I knew that I wanted to chase that feeling and join a sport. So I was deciding between the equestrian team and the dragon boat team. So the me wanting to be an equestrian thing kind of really just came from an unhealthy obsession with ABC's Once Upon a Time. But then eventually I realized that the equestrian team was too expensive for me. It was like $50 a week for lessons. And I was like, I am a teenager. I don't have $50 a week to spend on this. You know, I am literally about to enter into crippling student debt. I do not have $50 a week to learn how to ride horses and possibly break my neck and incur insane high medical bills. So I decided to go for dragon boat because honestly it was more appealing for a few different reasons. First of all, there was a really cute guy at the sign-up table. Second of all, it is Chinese, and I wanted to be, you know, connected to my cultural heritage, because I spent so much of my youth just being so like, I don't want to be Chinese, or I don't like being Chinese. But I wanted to, you know, take that back in a society that doesn't want me to like myself and my culture and my unique culture. I wanted to take that back for myself. So I decided to do the Chinese thing and join Dragon Boat. And Dragon Boat was very, very physically demanding. I was the weakest one on the team. How I made it, I think pretty much one of the captains saw me just busting my ass at the tryouts, and he decided to give me a chance, and the rest was history. I busted my ass on that team. I was so fucking weak and skinny, but I busted my ass on that team. There were several different practices that we had to attend every single week. There were 2 water practices, so every Saturday and Sunday we would go out on the water and row all morning, be in the sun, and then we would also have to do land practice on the track, so lots of running and cardio and circuits. And then there were 2 times a week where we had to go in the gym and strength train. And that is when I first picked up a barbell. And from my Dragon Boat teammates, I learned how to lift. And that was life-changing. It changed everything for me. Getting into weightlifting is so fucking scary if you're doing it all by yourself. The weights are heavy, you might look like an idiot if you do something wrong. So I'm very grateful that I had people to guide me into it. And you know, I ended up liking the weightlifting aspect of dragon boat more than the dragon boating aspect itself. So after the first year of college, I quit dragon boat and I decided to just be a gym girl. It was a struggle at first, to be honest. I was squatting the 45-pound bar for a year before I could even put any weights on it. I was that weak. And I'm pretty sure I was still eating in a caloric deficit just because where I was in high school, my appetite was just not very up there. So I was just eating until I was satisfied, and that was not enough food. It was still not enough food. After I quit dragon boat, I told myself, I am gonna take this weightlifting thing seriously. I am going to refocus on building my glutes. Something that I hadn't even thought about since high school, you know, because I was looking at my body and I was like, I still have a flat fucking ass and I want to change it. I want to change it so that when I look in the mirror, I'm happy with what I see. And guess what? I'm also going to get strong as fuck. So around second year of college, I pretty much just learned everything that I could learn from the fitness influencers that were on YouTube at the time, Whitney Simmons, Beth Fitness UK, Hannah Oberg, basically all the Gymshark girls, the early Gymshark girls, and they taught me a lot. They taught me so much, and I still recommend their channels for any gym girls who are starting out. I learned that you can basically transform your body basically from skinny twig to Amazonian goddess just through fucking weightlifting. And so I was like, I'm gonna do this. Basically, I realized, wait, the gym gives you endorphins, it makes you strong as fuck, and you can also change your body. Like, those are all my boxes. They're all checked. I was like, good deal. I'm going to the gym. I'm gonna be a gym girl now. So basically I decided I wanted to start bulking, and that was the start of my weight gain journey. Pretty much I took it very seriously. I started tracking my calories. I started trying to lift more in the gym week by week, and I was eating a lot. I was eating a lot to the point where I would stuff myself and it would be very uncomfortable every single day. And eventually I did make progress. I did make very decent progress. I got pretty strong, and then I hit a plateau, and this plateau was pretty short-lived, but not in a good way, mainly because the gyms closed because of COVID. So the plateau ended, and then instead of making progress this way, my progress went this way. As soon as the gyms closed, I could not figure out for the life of me how to maintain my physique, because if I was gonna eat in the same amount, the fuel wasn't going to be used. Like, I wasn't able to like work out, and I was not really a home workout type of girl, even though I briefly became one during COVID. Like, you know, we all did the Chloe Ting videos, but it just wasn't the same. And like, weights were insanely expensive. Like, people were hiking up the prices of weights like during that time, because I think everybody was trying to build a home gym, but I didn't have anything. I didn't have any money because I was a college student. So basically I lost all the progress that I made in college during the pandemic. I lost all of it. And I tried hard to, you know, eat enough and still try to do home workouts and things like that. But I feel like I just didn't realize how fast all my muscle would be lost, all my progress would be lost. I didn't realize that it would happen so fast. I thought that I would be able to last through the pandemic, even though we didn't even know when that was gonna end. So 2020, mid-pandemic, gyms are closed, I graduated. I didn't have any job prospects because it was the pandemic, and I didn't want to be an engineer, so I wasn't really applying to engineering jobs. And I eventually had to move home back into my parents' house. At this point in my life, I had some nutritional knowledge. I knew I had to eat in a caloric surplus to gain weight. I knew I had to eat at a maintenance level in order to maintain my weight. I knew I had to eat in a deficit to lose weight, which I wasn't trying to do, but it happened anyway. I want to say I don't know why I didn't try harder to eat properly, having the knowledge. But I think the reason was just because I didn't want to be in the same room as my mother, and most of the time she was in the kitchen. And I didn't want to be in the same room as her on most days, just because our relationship was super toxic. And I hated being back in that house. It was very traumatic, but I had no other choice. During that time in my life, I also didn't have a car, and I also didn't have money. I was $27,000 in student debt because I graduated, and I was just like, I don't have money, I don't have a car, I can't do anything except eat the food that my parents put on the table. I tried to drink protein. I tried to get my protein in so I wouldn't lose too much muscle, but eventually it just got so bad and I got skinny again. And that sucked because I felt like I couldn't recognize myself, and I went back to hating how I looked, even though I had abs. So at least there was that. And as with everything else, the darkness passed and there was light at the end of the tunnel, because in 2021 gyms opened again and I got a trainer. I thought it would be best at this stage to hire a fitness professional, just because I hadn't moved my body in so long. I mean, home workouts, yes, but weights, no. And I was gonna hurt myself if I went too crazy by myself. So I decided I'm gonna hire somebody. Through hiring a trainer, I realized that I also wanted to be a trainer, because I really missed because I used to be a tutor in college and I really missed teaching. I really missed teaching, and I loved exercise, and I got so far in college that, you know, a lot of my friends would ask me like, hey, can we go to the gym together? Or like, hey, do you have any fitness advice? And I was like, you know what? I feel like I would be a really good trainer. So in 2021, I became a trainer, and it's been amazing since. I feel like it's been a really, really fulfilling career path. I've met a lot of cool people, and it's genuinely really fun for me. And it's just completely different from doing engineering, which is just unfulfilling and boring and the absolute worst in my opinion. So I'm really glad that I found personal training. So through that, hiring a trainer, becoming a trainer myself, I realized that I wanted to take charge of my health, take charge of my physique, take charge of my fitness once again, even though the pandemic completely destroyed me. So eventually my trainer moved, and even though I was already a trainer, I decided to hire a coach to really just bring me up to that next level. Because I was really unsure as to whether or not I could surpass the progress that I made in college, just because it felt like I was starting all over. And like, you know, as a 19, 20-year-old, like your energy is just up there, you know, even though you're a depraved college student, like sleep deprived and shit and stuff like that. I was just like, I don't know if I have the same power in me, but I did. So with the help of my coach, who has been doing this for so damn long, and also my own personal training knowledge, I was able to get my skinny ass back into this state of bulking and getting stronger. And I surpassed myself in college in every way imaginable. I got bigger muscles. I outlifted myself. I felt happier and stronger than I had ever felt in my entire life. And it's been amazing so far. It's just been upward from there. From here, I am just trying to get fitter. I am just trying to get stronger. I am trying to get even more confident. And so if that sounds like something you want to do as well, please give me a subscribe and a follow. Currently, I am posting short form content on my Instagram and TikTok, and I post them on YouTube Shorts as well. But I intend on making long form informational videos on this channel. So yeah, if that resonates with you, subscribe. So that is the story of my fitness journey. I hope you enjoyed it, and until the next one, let's get jacked.